We turn now to Abdul Mawgud Darderi. He's a member of the Freedom and Justice Party, which is the Muslim Brotherhood's political wing, and he's joining me now by phone from Luxor. Mr. Darderi, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Can I ask you first, what do you read from the army's ultimatum? What do you think they're going to do?
Thank you, Christian, for having me for this. I read it from the surface. It appears to be positive and optimistic. I think the army is intervening in protecting democracy and the will of the people. And that is what the statement says at the very beginning. And I think the army is calling all political forces to come to the table for dialogue due to the lack of trust between the opposition and the presidency and the government. I think the army is likely to play the role of an honest broker between the political forces for a national dialogue. Egypt is going through a difficult democratic test, and I expect it to be successful if we all, the opposition and ruling party, be able to come to the table and have a national dialogue that leads to better solutions for Egypt problems.
Now, some people say, you know, it's a little late. It's the 11th hour right now. The army made the same ultimatum a week ago saying you've got 7 days to get your act together or else we're going to, you know, whatever, put our own roadmap out there. You're a member of the Freedom and Justice Party. It's the party that Mohamed Morsi led before renouncing his party membership and becoming president. He told me and he told the world that he was going to be president for all. Do you accept that he has made significant errors, real mistakes, in really towing the Muslim Brotherhood line?
He did make some mistakes, and he recognized those mistakes he made. The transitional period, Christian, is very difficult. I mean, a country after revolution, especially having two competing systems, the corrupt old regime that is still in place and a new system that is trying to displace it. So the transition is very difficult indeed, and the mistakes are not by choice, but they're by necessity due to the nature of the transition. And the fact that he recognized the mistakes, that means he has the willingness to fix them. In fact, just a few days ago, he proposed the importance of fixing the problems he committed in the past few months, in the past year or so.
Well, so, you know, you started by saying you think this is positive, that the army is determined to protect democracy. Well, the people obviously also think that it's positive because they think the army is going to help them overthrow the presidency. So we don't know where this is going, but there have been calls for a national unity government. Do you think the president can do that? Will he do that?
In fact, the president called for national dialogue many times. The difficulty is with the opposition that is afraid of democracy tests. It failed in the previous 5 elections we had in Egypt since the revolution. And they don't want to fail a 6th time, and that's why they're going to street politics. Street politics is not an end in itself. It is a means to achieve democracy, but they're not willing to go towards the democratic system.
All right, but
maybe
Mr. Darderi,
a national unity government is a solution. Maybe a parliamentary election is also a better solution so that the political forces can reach its relationship with the people and move on with the country.
Okay, well, that's interesting, the parliamentary elections that you're talking about. But look, both sides blame each other. You've just blamed the opposition blames the Morsi presidency. So you think realistically the solution now at this 11th hour would be what? To try to bring some members of the opposition into the government, to prepare for parliamentary elections? What needs to happen in the next 24 hours?
It needs a mindset change. The president invited all the political parties to participate in the government, and many of them declined. So calling them again to participate will be a step in the right direction. And I think parliamentary election, because this is the voice of the people. Living in Egypt, Christian, now there is no way allowing the military to rule over the country. So the only way people will accept is that respecting the democratic rules and living by the democratic rules. So I think a parliamentary election will be a way better solution than just having a government where there is a lot of mistrust between the political parties in the country.
All right. On that note, thank you so much for joining me, Abdul Mawgud Darderi.